Thank you guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to Keeping It Realty. I have a wonderful season planned for you this year. I also have a wonderful guest. Guys, this is my first time home buyer, Kanae Sydnor, and we're going to be talking to you today about first time home buying, giving you some tips, and also why it is important that you need a realtor. So, Kanae, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What kind of tea are you sipping this morning?
Green tea.
All right. She has our green tea, and so do I. It happens to be a good tea that helps with fibroids. So I personally, if those that do know, underwent surgery last year for fibroids, and so I love to enjoy green tea. Definitely is something that helps with those fibroids and keep them away. So thank you again for joining, and let's get into it. Tell me, how old were you when you purchased your first home?
I was 23.
Okay, 23, and just talk a little bit about your experience with that.
Honestly, it was I'm not gonna say it was too scary, but it was like I wasn't sure if I was making the right decision at that age because it's a big commitment. But I locked myself into a great mortgage. We'll talk about that later. But it was a good decision. I didn't let the fact that I was young stop me because it's something I wanted to do. So
I like that, and I like what you said, not allowing your age to stop you in what you were doing. A lot of people are, you just getting out of school. Did you go to college or?
No.
Okay, no, it's okay. So, but a lot of people are really afraid to step out there, especially at 23, and get a home. Like, how did you do that? How were you able to save money or just tell me a little bit about the process?
Well, I actually started the process when I was 22. I started saving summer of 2020. That's when I started fixing my credit first.
Okay.
So then after I got pre-approved in January, I just started saving more. And honestly, the biggest reason that I was able to save so much was that I eliminated a lot of bills, rent. So yeah, I swallowed my pride, went back home in the basement. But I mean, I did what I had to do for 7 months, 9 months, 7 months. Yeah, I went home for 7 months. So that was the big thing, honestly.
I can definitely tell. I was talking to a client last week that said the same. She had to, go back and save on some rent, and it is hard. But I told her one thing. I said, it is worth it. So I want to ask you, do you feel like doing those 7 months is worth having your own now, something that you can say, you did, that was very humbling?
Oh, it was very humbling. I love my mother, but you know how it is,
Right.
But she was very supportive. Like, I had lunch, I had dinner, I had breakfast. So all I had to worry about was my bills, like my car and my phone and stuff. And I paid one small bill in her house, and that was it. So it was definitely worth it.
Thank God you did have that support too.
Yeah.
A
lot of people don't have that, so I guess I was blessed for that. But I would do that again if I had to because it saved me so much money. And rent, it's ridiculous. So.
Man, you ain't never told a story. And so from hearing from your experience, you had to get your credit fixed. You guys heard that. In order for her to get her credit fixed, she had to do things like go back and live with her mom, save on her with the rent, get her credit together, and then she ended up getting approved in January by a lender. And now what you're doing, you're looking for some homes, or how are you working with a realtor? Like, tell me about that experience with the lending.
In January, after I got pre-approved, after I got pre-approved in January, I didn't have a lender. I had a lender in September, I think. I met him when I was working at another job, but that ended very quickly. So at the time, I did not have an agent. But shortly after I was pre-approved, I signed a contract with the agent.
Okay.
And that's when everything started rolling.
Okay. All right. And then so you're looking for homes. Tell me about your experience in looking for your home.
Actually, I think after I was approved, I talked to HUD counselor, is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
The housing counselor, about what my options were for getting grants in certain neighborhoods I could move in, and still saving money.
Okay. So for those that are, and sorry to cut you off, but those that are first time home buyers, you mentioned the HUD counseling. Tell me about that. So you get pre-approved, you worked on your credit, you got pre-approved, you are in some type of HUD counseling class.
Right, so the HUD counseling, it set me up with a first time home buyers course. I think it was $60, I think. I think so. But during the time of COVID, they had classes, but it was virtual, so we couldn't go in person. Had to be online. But it was like weekend classes. I didn't do that. I did virtually, like on my own time. After I did that, what did I do? Oh, okay. The class gave me all the information that I needed to move forward, like a whole plan, honestly. And I just kept working with the agent I was working with at the time. We were going to see houses, but the market was ridiculous in 2021. So I was outbid countless times, but it worked out because I wasn't ready anyway. I wasn't ready like for closing costs. I had no idea how real it was until you made it real. That's how to work with you. But, I wasn't ready back then. I was looking, but I was not ready.
Got you. And why do you feel you wasn't ready? Was it the information you was given? Was it just the situation that you were in, you didn't save enough money, or kind of what made you not be ready?
It was real, but it wasn't like really real until I saw like the closing documents. Like, okay, this is the amount that you needed. But honestly, back then when I first was working with that realtor back in earlier 2021, I was looking to get a multi-family property. So it became real when I couldn't use the Baltimore City grants for closing cost help.
Gotcha.
Because I was using a 203K loan. It didn't allow me to do that. So that was like, okay, all right, let me humble myself. I'm gonna have to get a house. So that's when the whole process changed and it started to become real. Like, yeah, I really need money, like a lot. So
yes. And that's good that you said that, because there are a lot of grant programs that are out here. With the 203K loan, if you take that, and that's not a grant, that's just a 203 FHA, which allows you to rehab the property, and you get to buy the property and rehab it. But with that, you cannot use any grants. So you can't do anything with that. It's a lot of money down. It is a really good program though for those that are looking to rehab a property, but it's a lot of work. You need HUD contractors, you need a HUD inspector, and you need people that are used to working with HUD, because they have to pay for that stuff out of pocket and then they get reimbursed after. But I've had 2 clients that work with that program, and both of them have different experiences. One is still working on getting their home fixed, because you got to be careful of the contractors that you're using, and people not being licensed, and a whole bunch of other things with that. So now your story shift. You were looking to get a multi-unit, now being more realistic about what you're going to need and what that entails. Now you're shifting a bit to look at homes.
Yeah, shifting to look at houses. I'm like, okay, not going to be a landlord right now. So now I'm looking at houses, but I had to look under a certain amount. I think I was pre-approved for $200,000, so I was looking under that amount. Yeah, just putting in offers, going to see houses that I was just getting outbid, honestly. But then
That
no
was
contract.
definitely the market. And did you go under contract, or have an experience where you almost had a house? Or?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I told you, but I was under contract with that other agent.
You did. I was trying to pull it
Oh,
out of you.
okay. Okay, I was
trying to pull it out of
but
it.
it was on the 203K loan. That's what it was for. So it was for a rehab house. So honestly, the house was just not in the best neighborhood. I was just antsy, not listening, trying to be all fast. But it didn't work out. I'm glad it didn't. But while I was looking into getting everything done for that house, I realized that you have to have a licensed contractor if you're going to rehab a house. And the only way that the loan would pay the contractor, well, they don't pay them till the job is done. So if you don't have money to pay them to get their men working, they're not going to work with you. One guy I asked, and I'm like, would you be okay with fronting the money until my loan closed? I didn't hear back from him. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say get with people that work with HUD that might have the expenses to put out for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll give you draws, but if you have a property that I believe it's if you have like 25,000 or more, and I forget the amount, but I think it's at least like 25,000 or more, and damages, then you need what's called a HUD inspector to come, and that HUD consultant is the one that has to reach out to HUD, your bank, and they're like the in-between person, making sure that the contractors are doing their work. Then they'll release a draw, and then you go, to the next and so forth. But it's a long process, and of course nobody's gonna do your house like you would as far as the draws and the money. So like with my friend right now, the money's tied up. They can't even use the money. They can't get, nobody else want to work with them. Why? Because somebody else started to work, and now nobody wants to work behind somebody else's work. And that money's not being released to anybody unless it's a licensed contractor. So
it's a lot of stuff that, you know, comes along with that. And sometimes, especially now with the pandemic, prices are going up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
The, you know, supplies is going up, the money's going up to do the work, and so a lot of people aren't coming out for that. But that was interesting. So the reason I had mentioned that, because I remember when I met you, you were telling me that you were under contract. But then when we talked to the lender, you just found out it was so many other things that had to be put in place before you can even be under contract. So I was just like, you know, now it's easy to get misled when you're working with a team of people that just want to get you out there. As a realtor, and not faulting anyone that you have worked with, but I just like to, the first time I met you, I said, let's call Linda, just get on three-way. So that way, you know, I believe in doing that three-way call between the lender and the client, so you don't have the client saying, oh, the lender said one thing, and then the lender saying, oh, no, I told them one thing. You all be on the same page as to what's the plan, so that way if it's something that, you know, I can continue to encourage you on, if it's something, you know, which we did that in between the deal. If I knew we were working on getting to school up or doing this, then I would check in, okay, or you would, you know, check back in with me, and we just stayed in communication. So it's very important when it comes to that, just to know where you are and stand. So now you meet me.
Yeah, I was referred to her by my mother. Our mothers worked
Yay,
together.
Mom.
Yeah, they worked
That's my
together
girl.
years ago at the bank. Bank
Yes.
of America on that. But
First National Bank of America.
It's Bank of America now, right?
I think that is the same people. Yeah, no, they turned into M&T.
Oh, okay.
I only know because my mother still got a free account there. Shout out to you, mine. She don't pay for the account. They might be looking for it now after this video. But M&T bought them. But
My
yeah,
mother, she
they
actually told me to call you months ago. I just wasn't listening. You know, I was just trying.
you
I
had
just
it
wasn't
all.
listening.
You
I
had
was
it
just
planned.
But when I did call you, I think my contract was over with the last agent, so I didn't have an agent at the moment. But I still wanted to do it, but I was still like down. I was in like a slump. Like, okay, it's been like 4 months of this. I'm kind of over it. But yeah, when I talked with you, we had a plan, so it was like gone from there.
Yes, definitely. One thing I enjoy working with you, where, you know, just being real about the situation. You kept, listen, I just want to know what I need to do. I just need to know. Just tell me I'm going to do it, but I don't want to go, you know, back and forth with this lender about this and that. So, you know, we actually, she found a home and put an offer in, and then had to switch lenders in the middle of, like, at the beginning of doing that deal. When it came to closing costs and different things, as a realtor, it's important to have a real estate agent. Of course, that you can read this paperwork and try to figure out what it means, but most of this deal was just really making sure that I was having her best interest in all parts of the deal. And so when it came to the closing costs and what she was being told and just one thing to the next, it was like, okay, listen, I said, Kanae, I know a good realtor. I mean, not realtor, but loan officer, Alicia Hawkawa, very great lender. She's very upfront. She works with programs and can get you into the Maryland Mortgage Program, and we could be able to use that to, you know, get you some money and lower these costs for you. And so switched over to her, and she literally got the job done.
It was like I had 2 weeks to close when we switched. Like it was like, okay, Alicia, can you help us? Because if you can, the other person has to go.
Yes,
so
definitely. That was definitely the phone call.
Yeah. She, at first, the numbers that she gave me, they had a program for me that I was getting back like 1,000, wasn't it? It was something. I was going to walk away from the table with like $1,000 check, something of that nature. And I'm like, yeah, girl, I'll switch with you. We can go right now.
Opposed to the big amount, you know, it was a huge difference. I'm talking like, well, like a $7,000 difference.
Yeah.
So,
$7,000.
Yes.
That's
Tell me about
that's
that.
a lot. Okay. After we found the house, I had the inspection and everything that had to get done, and we were running numbers with the lender, not really knowing that he was a broker. So I felt like he may have been just trying to make my loan more appealing to sell. I could be wrong, but that's how I felt. So it was like he would say, do X, Y, Z, bring your credit up. I did it. Credit would go up, and then, oh, well, you're still not eligible. Why am I not eligible? Well, it's not going through. Why is it not going through? I didn't know that he wasn't the lender. I had no clue. I mean, he just kept saying it wouldn't go through. What's not gonna go through? So he was just shopping around to find lenders that would accept me. So the numbers kept changing. One time it was 4,000, then it was 7, then it was 6. Literally days apart. Like how is it changing? Well, interest rates change every day, right?
They do.
But yeah. So the final number, I think it was like 6,000 or 7,000, and he was like, but you can get money from the Maryland mortgage program. You just have to get a 640. So a couple weeks went by. I did what I had to do. Waited for my score to update. And I was like, okay, but at 640, call him all excited. He's like, oh no, it's a 660. And I'm like, hold on, let me call you back. Yolanda, he said 640, right? We were getting a lot of misinformation. That's all it was, but.
I can't work like that. I just, once that happened though, for me, I was like, oh no, if he doing this now, it's going to be a problem when you go into contract, and I don't want things to go as smooth as possible. Like, things are going to happen. It's real estate. Things that happen out of my control, cool. If I can control something, I don't want to deal with this cat switching up. It was definitely on a day-to-day basis. It was starting to be a little bit like me and her talking, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I heard that too. So that's why I like to have those three-way conversations, because I was able to verify and let you know, like, okay, no, you're not crazy. This is what he said.
Yeah.
So I like to do that, because now you have a witness and you can say that we all heard, what was discussed as to what was needed. So one thing I realized in that moment was you can talk to someone and try to be on a party, where everybody understands, but sometimes lenders tell you what they want to tell you at that moment, and you have to be careful. Even if you're not working with a realtor, or you do choose to work with a realtor regardless, be careful when you're looking at a lender. And how many lenders do you mind me asking that you tried or good around? Because you can shop around for lenders. You have 30 days, some 30 to 45 days. I always say 30, just keep it within. They do tell you 45, but you do have that time frame to go around and have your credit ran by different lenders and see who you want to work with. Check and see if they work with grant programs. Everybody should participate with the Maryland Mortgage Program. It's a state program, but some lenders may not. Usually smaller lenders may or may not. It just, depends. Some banks may or may not. It just really depends on that lender, and that's why you shop around for the best one. So how many did you go through?
I worked with 2.
Okay.
2 lenders. I will say, as soon as you put in your information, everybody's gonna call you. You're gonna get a phone call like every 10 minutes. Hey, from this company, trying to get you a better interest rate or a better number or whatever. They wanted you to work with them. But I did forget to mention that when I started in like August, September, my credit was like 580. It was in the trash. It was ridiculous. Then July, now it's 640, but I'm eligible for the Maryland Mortgage Program. So a little under a year, I was able to get my credit to where it needed to be. But if I had, I'm not saying this because you're here, but if I were working with you sooner, my credit would have been up faster, because I had a team. I had somebody telling me and helping me, but I was working by myself, so it took longer. So yeah, it took a minute, but it was.
Well, and the one thing I love about it is that you didn't stop. You know what I mean? Like, even though you went through the process, you got to really be disciplined in your mindset of, okay, I want this home, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I was talking to a client the other day, and he did not want to hear that he wasn't ready right now. Like, what do you do when you are going after, pre-approval, you're ready, you've been working hard, you've been saving your money, and then you go to the lender and they're like, nope. Even though you see on Credit Karma that you have this amount, your credit score is really this, and all you need to do is these little things, and then we can come back and, work with you.
Honestly, around this time last June, I was done. Even though you and I had signed a contract, I was like, I'm gonna get an apartment. I had all this money saved, and I'm like, this is just not working. I was searching for apartments. The rent was like $1,200-$1,300 for a 1-bedroom, and I'm like, I can get a whole house for less than that. Can they just wait? But I'm in my head, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go shop. Like, I had an appointment. I was gonna go see somebody on Monday. Like, I can't do this. I was overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm tired of being here with my mother. Even though she wasn't bad, it was just I wanted my space.
Right.
Honestly, another thing that was important for me was who I surrounded myself by. So the people that I was around, they knew what my goal was, so they didn't allow me to say stuff like that. Like,
Good.
I came so far. Like, no, Kanae, you came so far. You came so far.
That's
you came
right.
so far. And honestly, that helped me a lot.
That's
and
good.
then when we started looking again, it just got better after that. So it's really just a mindset. Just don't give up, because I almost did. That would have been ridiculous.
That would have.
That would have been ridiculous to close, what, 2-3 months later when I almost quit.
Exactly. You gotta look at if we could just see, right, the future thing. And that's why you don't give up. When you are persistent, when you know that you have an end goal in mind, and when you put in that work, once you start putting in the work and you see, like, okay, I was actually shopping around, I see these homes, I was under contract, that, have a little bit of now knowing a little bit of what I need to do, now I'm ready. And you do have that point, especially in a market where the market was crazy. Everybody, if you like the home, 10 other people, 20 other people like it. It's multiple offers on these homes. They're asking you for highest and best. They want it, flipped around really quickly. And so it was a very stressful market. So a lot of clients too last year felt like, just devastated. You're tired of looking. You're going out twice a week. You get excited when you put these offers in. And, even though that you're going against so many people, you get so excited as, oh, I really like that home. You kind of fall in love with them as you're walking through them, And so that definitely can put a toll on you physically, and just kind of be at a standstill to say, all right, look, I'm not even looking for a minute. Let me just take a mental pause,
Honestly, I'm so much of a realist that before I went into a house, I had an app on my phone. I calculated what the mortgage would be before I even stepped in there. Like, I needed to know.
You did.
I did not want to waste any time.
You kept saying that. You was like, sorry, I do not want to waste your time. I just want to make sure I know. You definitely did do that, or ask questions, which is really good, Ask questions to your realtors about these homes, and no, they definitely have a mortgage calculator. So as a first-time home buyer, if you're out looking, maybe the lender or the real estate agent may be busy, you can literally calculate a mortgage calculator. If you're getting an FHA loan, then you have the 3.5% down. If you're getting the conventional loan, then you might be at a 5% down as first-time home buyers. So a lot of times you just got to have that right calculation to what your down payment may be, and you can kind of get an estimate for whatever your loan officer had discussed with you, the interest rate, and make sure you do it on a 30 fixed year mortgage, and you should be good. You put in the purchase price, which you can get off of line of the home, and then you have to minus that by your down payment amount, okay? Because you actually want to calculate what you're going to be borrowing in the loan. All right, so that could be, for a later class, but you want to make sure that you do the math. And sometimes you want to quickly, like I said, do it before you even go into the home, knowing or getting an idea. Now, some of these are an estimate, because some calculators will ask you like what your credit score is and things like that, but at least you will get an idea of what that monthly payment would be. Also, you want to look at the property taxes. You can always go on SDAD, property search, and look up that information as well. Yeah. Or on your MLS sheet. So if you're working with a realtor, or if you're not, you can go right on Redfin, Realtor.com. A lot of those sites will estimate what the property taxes are too.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
I hear you say realtor, real estate agent. Is there a difference?
There is. That's a great question. There is a difference between a real estate agent and a realtor. A realtor actually paid dues to the National Association of Realtors, which is the NAR, that they pay dues when they join a board, and real estate agents do not. So that's the major difference. But as a realtor, you have lots of different affiliations, and you can get discount for working with their board, and they offer a lot of classes to help you with continuing on your education. So it's important. It helped me. They actually just had, they just give us a lot. Like, you can go on the NAR's website and learn safety tips, which I had an episode last season about, telling you how to be safe when you're going out to look for properties. Sometimes we don't think about, those safety tips as well, when you're going into homes and you're looking at properties, and, being aware of people that's in the area, things like that, staying in the car too long and while you're waiting for your realtor to pull up, or vice versa. A lot of times you're sitting in your car, you're on your phone, and you're not paying attention to your surroundings. So just different ways like that they just give you that different additional education great thing to be a part of.
I just thought about how we went to this one house. We didn't even get out the car. She pulled up behind me and said, "Kanae, we're not getting out."
Yeah, I literally
We're
saw
not
a
getting out.
drug transaction
We're not getting out
in
the car.
front of me, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I believe it was. Do you remember the guy in the wheelchair?
I don't know, but it was
We
like a
pulled
dead
up
end block.
and yep.
It was a vacant.
It was,
it was not pictured on the website.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
That was definitely. I was like, yeah. And then you're by these board up homes. It was just definitely not a safe block. For a single mama, 23 years old, buying her first property. Big ups to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you have any plans going on your 1 year celebration for the home?
I'm not sure, but there are some things that I want to do, like to, I guess, make it not more of home, but make it more to my liking. Like change a certain bedroom into like a beauty room, like a sofa, somewhere to do my hair, because I'm in the bathroom doing my hair, and it's a lot. But I rather.
It's bomb.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm not sure. I didn't have a housewarming, so I guess I do need to do something. So I'll open up. Maybe I'll do something.
That would be nice.
I've learned a lot this first year, so I'm grateful that I'm here.
Definitely grateful. I'm grateful that I was able to be a part of your journey. So just in going back to your story, when you and I met, now you're looking for homes. It took us a minute as well. Definitely from the summer to October. Actually,
No,
July.
We didn't take a long time finding a house. It was the closing.
It was getting
ready for closing.
So it was, first we was with, you know who.
Yeah, we had to switch lenders.
Then we had to switch lenders.
Then I had to wait because they wanted me to be at my job for a year.
That part.
So that took another 2 months.
Right.
So
in order to count her income,
overtime,
her overtime income, she had to work for a certain amount of time. So we literally had to extend the contract for a couple weeks. I think it was really like 2-3 weeks extension though.
But we kept
seemed
getting
like longer
extensions because we were switching. So
yeah.
I think I was under contract in July. I was set to close at the end of August, and then we had switched lenders, and then now we're in September, about to close, and I go, no, you gotta wait. So yeah, it was a couple weeks.
It was a couple.
So okay, it wasn't 2 months. It was a couple.
It was a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember that it was just kind of like, okay, we in September. She waits after this date that we could do this. It was like, okay, all right, cool. But it definitely all worked because you came to close in with how much?
Ooh. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
Please share.
I think I wired it the night before. I don't know, but it was like 230. I think it was 237 to be exact. But I walked away with a check. It was like a pest inspection refund, or like something. It was $39.
Oh yeah, that.
Something. $39. Yeah, I walked away with a $30 check as well. So yeah.
And then we had to have the seller credit her for roof certification. That whole thing was crazy.
Yes.
So just being under contract is very important, guys, to get a home inspection. We get a home inspection done. The home inspection had noted a few things. We go back and we do a correction list. That's another thing that took long, is because they had to make repairs and they were not making the repairs on time. And they just had a lot going on. We had a BGE issue going on. It was a lot of issues.
Oh my God, I'm getting stressed out reliving it. Like
I'm thinking about it as we're going
I know,
along.
it was a lot.
And I was like, wait a minute, we were that's another thing that took so long. And it did buy us time though to get a different lender in between the inspections, but the whole thing was like, I mean, I had a long list like this of repairs that needed to be done. They agreed to repair everything. It is so important to actually do a walkthrough after these repairs have been made, because it was a lot of things that they even took white paint and tried to paint over the mold.
Ridiculous.
And you can still see the mold on the other back end of the drywall where that had to be done.
They left the paint that they used.
They left the paint that they used
right there,
so you can see that they used that paint to cover up the mold. It just got really crazy. So because of that, I'm gonna go to war for my clients. So I literally made sure that she had remediation done. So we literally had someone come in, get the mold out the day before. we're set to close. And also they had to provide a check so that she could get a new roof. So what happened, they provided a letter stating that the roof was certified. And so in that letter, it just kind of did not make sense. If I have a home inspection that states that this roof needs to be fixed, somebody's lying here. Either my home inspector is telling me a story and the roof is fine, and I have a letter that is certifying that this company looked at the roof and that it is good to go. So I called the actual person that had provided the roof certification, the company, and just asked questions to see if he actually did certify this letter that I received with his name on there. He did not respond to me, but I later got a call from the agent that they would go ahead and provide the total estimate amount in a check back to her so that she could get a roof done. So again, it's just so important to, for your protection, get a home inspection. Make sure you have an agent that's really going through those 75 or so pages that will go through with you. You know, we reviewed that 75 page together, and anything that needed to be requested, you know, it was cracks in some of the cement that they had to fill, and it was a lot of things going on that, you know, we just wanted to make sure got done. So that's one of the things that you want to do to make sure you have a realtor to do, is to, number one, protect you, have your best interests at heart at all times, communicate, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You want to make sure that you're with someone that communicates. And how big is it on time, right? You want to make sure that you're with a realtor who has time for you. We all are busy, we have lives, but as a job, for me at least, as a realtor, I want to make sure that I'm communicating with my clients, that even if you're not available, you have something going on, send a text. You know, check in with them and just let them know that they're not just another deal, but actually you're building that relationship and that rapport. Because of that relationship, I'll see you on Facebook, and I just want to tell you, I so appreciate how this is my realtor, and tag me. Like, I appreciate the love so much. It just makes me feel good, because one thing that is a realtor for me is like, I want people to walk away knowing that I either left an impression on them, they love their home. Like, I'm someone that when you think of me, oh yeah, think of her. Like, so many people have came to me and said, can they refer? Like, seriously, they might not, you know, follow through because they still young though, you know, people doing their thing, but they will definitely, you're the most preferred person that I have, honestly,
I didn't know
and talking with people. So I do appreciate that so much. But how good did it feel walking away at settlement, knowing what you went through though, but now you've been compensated and really came out of your pocket with little to no money down. I mean, $237.
Honestly, Yolanda,
And you had all that money saved, and you was waiting, and you was ready to spend that money.
I spent more money paying off debt to build my credit than what I paid to close.
Say that one more time.
I paid more money paying off debt to build my credit than what I paid to close. So they always say good credit is better than money. That's one of those examples where it worked out for me. But how did it feel? I was just like so happy that it was over. Like, you were asking me the day before, are you excited about closing? I said, I'm not gonna be excited until I'm signing these papers, because this lady, this other agent, she could have called us the morning of closing and was like, oh, something's not right, we can't close today. I'd have been so upset. So I really was not excited until I sat there, and she got on this agent's nerves so bad that she was trying to get me to sign before my agent was there. She did not want to meet you, Yolanda.
She did not want to meet
me.
me.
She did not want to meet you
She didn't want to speak to me. When I spoke to her, if looks could have killed.
I don't think she spoke back.
No, and
you
if
had
looks
to say
killed, she
blah blah
killed
blah.
me with those
Hi,
words.
like you had to say her name, like hello. It was crazy. But if your agent, honestly, that's an example of your agent going hard for you.
There you
the other agent did not even want to meet her. Like, yeah, that was crazy.
And look, it asked me, do I care? I got sleep, because right is right and wrong is wrong. And I felt like the line with the roof certification and the do the remediation, like, these are things that you were supposed to fix that you did not fix. So because you didn't fix it, you gotta pay for it. It's not gonna go on my first time home buyer. So I'm sure if she was me, she didn't want to see me either, especially having to come back out of her pocket and give the additional money after they were already paying for the remediation. So it was just really crazy, the whole scenario. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy and so grateful that, to now you love your place. It's nice, it's settling, it's becoming home now. And now you are just giving back to other first time home buyers, or just talking about openly your experience. Tell me some tips, some things, what's some advice that you would give to first time home buyers?
Advice, okay. The very first thing is you have to be serious. Like, be serious. Don't just be like putting in inquiries because it's cute and it's fun and it's the trend. No, this is real. Like, you have to be serious. And then once you guys made that decision, you have to look at your credit. Like, me personally, I didn't need a repair specialist because I didn't have a lot on my stuff I needed to fix. But if you need one, get one. Like, it would have, if I probably could have used one, it may have made my process, a little better. But yeah, fix my credit. Then immediately after that, make sure you have a team. Like, it wasn't just Yolanda, it was her assistant Kanae, it was whoever else at Realty One. With my lender, it was Alicia and her assistants. Like,
Kelly, shout out to Kelly.
I closed with the all-female team.
Hey,
the agent, the lender, everybody. Like, that's a big deal. Yeah, so make sure you have a team, because me working, I was only available Sundays and Mondays to go and see houses, and sometimes not every weekend. It's just how it was.
And then we talked today, we couldn't remember, but she didn't come to the final walkthrough, but I showed up. I got the remediation done. You was like, I don't even think I came.
FaceTime me.
FaceTime.
I can answer at any moment, so FaceTime me. So, yeah.
We got it done.
Yeah, it was crazy. Also, I think it was $9,000 I received in closing cost help in 2021 in this market. In 2021.
Yes. Oh, actually, the sellers, they ended up giving a $10,000 credit.
Oh, it was 10.
It was 10.
Oh,
it was
excuse
10.
me.
They ended up giving, so we actually got sellers help as well. So that was in addition to everything else. So let's talk about it. Wait, now it's coming back.
Tips. I think I had another tip. I forgot. I started. My mind was somewhere.
It's all good.
What did I say? I said have a team, and just follow through. Be serious. Don't let anything stop you. Like, have a team. Like, as far as people working with you for your house, but make sure that you have a team beside you, like your family, your friends. Make sure they know your end goal, and make sure that they're supportive. Because I wasn't even going out to eat. And like, Kanae, you want to go get a drink? Yes, I would love to get a drink. But it's just not a good financial decision for me right now.
Right.
So either they would pay or I would go when I could. But my main thing was saving. And the people in my ear knew what I needed to do. So I had a good support system from family to friends. So they were not going to let me not close, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I was in no rush to leave because I was with my mother. She's like, Kanae, I don't care if you gotta stay here for a year. I said, a year? I mean, like, I get it. Like, I get it. I can stay here. I have a stable place to live. But a year? No. But yeah, I had a good support system. So, be serious. Know your credit score and have a team, and just be consistent.
I love it.
Consistent.
All those definitely, it's a big part of you, being able to push forward, especially on those days where you feel like you can't. Having that support is everything. That's why as a realtor, it's good to check in. As a realtor, you check in, even if it's a text. Just check in with people, because you never know that push that they may need, to get through.
Sorry, I had another one just came to my head. Income. I was working like crazy. Like, I was working so that my income could be high enough to get final approval, because I got pre-approved. I didn't get the final approval until a couple weeks before closing. So I kept trying to make as much money as I could, because they were asking for pay stubs every time we kept doing it. So make sure you have consistent income. If you missed a week, I had COVID. I had to show,
everything.
I wasn't working for these 2 weeks, but I got a check. My pay stub look a little weird. It might say 0 hours, but I had COVID. And I was making so much money, Yolanda. I almost worked my way out of the Maryland mortgage program. The cap they had for income,
which they just raised the cap,
good.
By the way. They have been doing the Maryland mortgage program. That's another thing. First time buyers, do your education on the Maryland mortgage program. If you're working with a lender and they don't work with the Maryland Mortgage Program, see ya. I would go with another lender that works with them. But right now they're doing up to 5% of the sales purchase price of homes, and they're doing that because interest rates are high. Kanae, do you remember what your interest rate was last year?
Yes,
Can you share what your interest rate?
I know for sure the first number was a 2, but you know the point, I think it was either 3 or 5, 2.3 or 2.5, but yes,
2.5. So the last 2 years, of course, with the pandemic, interest rates have been the lowest that I believe we'll ever see again. I don't know what the near future has for us, but right now, interest rates on Maryland Mortgage Program loans are 6 and 7%. So as you guys know, right now we're on the other side of this thing where interest rates are ridiculous. They are trending up and down, you know, daily. And once you're under contract, of course, you're locked into whatever interest rate that lender gives you. But until that time happens and you're not under contract, those interest rates are going like this. So Maryland Mortgage Program just recently came out where they are offering more money at the closing table. But excuse me, it's going to be a while before we see any of those. So interest rates are going to be, now they are double of where you were last year if you're not getting a Maryland Mortgage Program, you're not getting a loan. So Maryland Mortgage Program interest rates are higher because you're getting their loan and they're helping you with that rate. They even pay, get this, they will cover your student loan debt up to $30,000 or 15%, whichever is greater. But if you have student loan debt $30,000 or less, they will forgive your student loan. You never have to pay that money again as long as you stay in the property for 5 years and don't sell.
I honestly had a friend that wanted to get into the process, but student loan debt was affecting her credit.
Right now it's a 0.5%. So they used to do your student loans and they used to times it by 1%. Now it's a 0.5%.
And the Maryland Mortgage Program will, what did you say?
They will pay down your, it's called the Smart Buy 3.0. Guys, the Smart Buy 3.0 will literally pay down your student debt $30,000 or 15%, whichever is greater of it, they'll cover it. But this is the thing, if they take 15% of your loan, now when you come to settlement, you have to pay the balance, so you can't leave settlement with any student loan debt. So if you have more than $30,000, you would have to cover that. They'll cover 15% of whatever, you know, your huge debt is, and then whatever the balance is, you would have to cover that. So, you know, look and see where you are with that, but that's a really good program to literally have your loan forgiven and don't have to worry about paying your student loan debts, and you're purchasing a house.
That's good for people my age, because everybody my age is graduating college right now, or they did it a year or two ago, or they will be graduating soon. And that's the issue. They are so scared of the student loan debt that they won't even
Oh yeah, I mean that's a whole class within itself. They literally did that last year again because in the pandemic, again, they were seeing a lot of people wanting to purchase homes, but a lot of people have student loan debt. Yeah. So they took that down to now a 0.5%, which is wonderful because it helps you. And if you are looking into a home, they would want that student loan debt, you to have some type of arrangements, you know, to make payment and have that settled.
Wow, my mortgage would be like $300-400 more if I closed in 2020.
How do you feel hearing that though? Just hearing that what the interest rates are now to where they were with you. I mean, it was a very good time to buy during the pandemic. It was so many realtors out there saying, take advantage of this time, buy now, the time is to buy now. It's still a good time to buy because interest rates are still gonna go up. Like we're just in the beginning of this thing. So interest rates are gonna continue to rise. But knowing during the pandemic that you took advantage of that opportunity and got locked into a low interest rate, I mean, wow, that's a great.
I didn't even know that till today.
I'm
still stuck on that because, wow, my mortgage is like $300-400 less than what people are paying for rent.
Yes.
And people cannot believe that my mortgage is so cheap. They don't even believe me. You don't have to believe me. It's fine. But you know, I mean, 6%, 7%.
6 and 7%, and so
still buy, but that, ooh.
Yep, and that's if you want that Maryland Mortgage Program. So at the time when you got your loan, you got $5,000, right, towards the purchase.
Yes, towards, yeah.
So she got $5,000 towards the purchase of her home. Now they're doing 5%, up to 5% of the sales purchase price. So they have a program that they added two new, 4% and 5%. They always had the 3% and the 5,000, but now you have the opportunity to do that. So they're offering more money, and it works because a lot of people really can take advantage of that grant program. I mean, you came to the table with $237. You know, you had seller's help of $10,000. You had the Maryland Mortgage Program of $5,000, and then and that was the two things that you got.
That was another thing about the seller's help. I didn't even ask for it at first. They were like, if the buyer wants help, they have to offer full asking. So then Yolanda did her negotiating, and that's how it worked. So I'm still stuck on that in the market.
So it's funny because when I did that, I looked at how all long the house was on the market,
right.
And so I was like, you know what, this house been on the market for a while. Let's get them to do some seller's help.
Yeah.
Like literally, it definitely was on the market for, and the thing, it fell out of contract, and they were so, like, they took the offer with the 10,000 so easy, it made me feel like, okay, something's wrong with this house, because they were just like, fine.
Then look at what happened to us.
Now, but you got compensated.
I did.
You got compensated. I made sure she left with that check. That's why the realtor didn't want to speak to me. And the funny thing is, we all knew it. Like when that happened, like, girl, you can cut that with a knife, because she was not feeling me at all.
I think if you go to closing and your realtor and the selling agent are buddy, something's not right. Did they go work? Did they go hard for you? Did they? Because it should be a little bit of tension. I feel like our tension was a lot, but I feel like it has to be like this person should be fighting for you. Like, seriously. So why y'all buddy? So I mean, wow.
She wouldn't even speak. And there's some realtors, you know, that even if they working outside, maybe somebody you know, but even still, you represent, you know, the client. You're there for the client. You represent the client. And in our case, the client so happened to be the realtor. So for her standpoint, I was going to say, see, you forgot about that. So she was more into the deal because she was losing money. Yeah. And she wasn't, you know, because if she didn't care if it was somebody else's money, it was her money. So that's why she didn't want to speak to me, which is fine. Which made the situation a great point to bring to first-time home buyers. How many people, if you're looking to get a house and the realtor is also the seller, are they going to have your best interests in mind if you don't have an agent? You know what I mean? Like, if you are going to purchase a home and that seller is also the real estate agent on the property that they're selling.
People really go to closing with no agent?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you don't, you know, again, you don't have to have a realtor, but it is important to have a realtor. It's important to know where you stand. As Kanae said, have a team. The different things and advices that she has to give is just, it's so important to hear it from someone who's been there, right? As a realtor, you get so many clients that have a lot of information, don't know where to start. Just real quickly, what really drove you to want to get a home? Like, what made you say, okay, the time is now, I want to buy?
Honestly, you don't ask me that a lot, so that's real. Okay. Why did I say I'm going to buy a house?
Yes.
Okay, so my lease was up March 2021. I was living with my sister, and I lived by myself for 2 years, and I lived with my sister for 2 years, and I just wanted to be by myself again. Then I started looking at, we decided we weren't gonna, move together again. So I needed to live by myself, and I started looking at the prices, and I'm like, no. But I don't know if, it's not like it was somebody in my circle that bought a house, or that I see somebody on social media. No, it's just like, buy a house. And I was like, can I do it? Talking to myself, and it was like, well, we're gonna try. So that's what I did. I mean, I knew that mortgage is most likely cheaper than rent, so that's just what I did. I just started the process, and it worked out for me. But yeah, it wasn't really like influences that, like,
okay, I like that. And if any, how did you overcome any fears that you may have had in purchasing at such a young age?
One of the biggest fears was, how do I get this stuff fixed? Because I don't have a maintenance team anymore when I buy a house. But I grew up in a house that my mother owned, so she had Mr. This person, Mr. It's a million people we could call to do anything. Well, she still calls to this day, so I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I could just call somebody to fix it. As far as safety, because it's just me, one of the first things I did was get a security system. So I know when I come home, nobody's in my house. I know that for sure. I contemplated like firearm training and everything just to keep myself safe, but my concerns were just like safety and how to get stuff fixed. I really wasn't scared of this process because I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Gotcha. You kind of don't know till you start going down that road, right?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say if I knew everything. I know people are watching this and like, oh, this is a lot. Just don't be discouraged. We just have to tell you. Like, somebody has to tell you. So that you don't be like bombarded and surprised when it happened, because I guess if I wasn't so serious, I'd have gave up. Like, all the stuff that happened to me, I'd have just gave up.
Especially being under contract. It was like, you know what, let's just get out of contract. They ain't fixing anything.
Yeah.
Then we had the BGE issue where the BGE was not on, but it was on legally.
Yeah. We didn't even touch on that. It was really a lot. But the part of town I moved to is not where I'm from. So it was like, I'm just looking on an app and I'm like, let's go look on the east side. Never wanted to be over there, but that's the place that accepted my offer. So we was in a drought for a minute of like houses to see, or they were just overpriced, or because I'm only available on Sunday and Monday, let's say a house came on the market on Tuesday. I'm like, okay, by Wednesday, oh, Yolanda, I like this. And then she texts me back or called me back by Wednesday night, girls, it's already under contract. That's how fast it was. So we were in like a slump of like seeing houses. So once I got this one under contract, I said, I am not letting this one go.
Let's do what we need to do.
I'm not letting this one go. So
definitely. Yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the show and just sharing your experience. And is there anything else that you want to tell first-time home buyers before we wrap up?
Please have a team, a knowledgeable team. They will have your back. Like, please, this is a tough process, especially if you need like closing cost help. Now, if you have funds, okay, fine. But if you really need somebody to work with you, work for you, and help you through the process, please have a team. Please have a team. Just have a team. That is it. Have a team. That is it. Just have a team.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Keeping It Realty. And again, this show has been brought to you by Keeping It Realty and thank you, Kanae, for joining us. This is yours.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On every single thing. I'm so proud of you. And I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for choosing me to be your realtor. I really appreciate you so much. I know you enjoyed this home we fought for.
We did.
Because I wasn't playing with her. She had the boxing gloves with this thing. I wasn't playing with her.
Girl, I did too.
She really did.
I did
And that's why I
too.
enjoyed we had to end the fight with what? Good sportsmanship. It was really good working with you. I told her that. I told her. Yolanda, and I am the Powerhouse Realtor. Wanted to come to you today to let you get an inside scoop on the closing that I had today. This is my first time home buyer. Today we were able to close a deal where we had $9,000 offered back by the seller, so they paid that back to her. In addition, we had $5,000 of invoices that was paid at settlement for some inspection issues that wasn't taken care of. In addition to her having the Merlin Mortgage Program that helped her with $5,000 towards her down payment for this loan. In addition to her being able to leave the table today with a check for $39 back into her pocket. If you're looking for a realtor that is able to do that and that will fight the bat for you, come check me out. Kanae, let us know about your experience with me.
That's exactly what I was about to say. She definitely went to bat for me. I work 10, 12 hours a day. It's a lot of stuff I can't do, but Yolanda, she's full time. She was able to go where I needed her to go. She was always on it, and I would definitely recommend Yolanda to anyone.
Thank you guys, and again, you heard it right from Kanae. If you're looking for a realtor that will go to bat, that will help you, that will stay with you the entire way, make sure that you get grants. Make sure that you get everything that you're supposed to have. Check me out. You can reach me at www.thepowerhouserealtor.com. Thank you.